morning, everyone. This is Dane here with my lovely co-host.
I'm Dominic.
And this is Welcome to Good Morning Nintendo. We are currently up on YouTube, but also we are now up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So please go ahead and like or subscribe to those channels. If you could leave us a review, we'd really appreciate that. It'd really help. And I think we're just going to go ahead and get started with what we've been playing this week. So, Dominic, do you want to start it off? Because you've really had a whole lot going on.
You know what? Yeah, I'll just get right into it. Why not? So still playing Pikmin and still a lot of fun. Like, there's a good strategy element to it that I've been starting to figure out. The only thing I don't like about Pikmin, like so far, I've really liked it, but you're timed, which is I hate that. Like, I hate when a game's like, hey, there's a lot of exploring to do, there's a lot of puzzles, but it's like, but rush. Like, I understand it obviously gives the game a level of difficulty and added tension, this, that, and the fourth. But I don't know, like, it's so annoying knowing that, like, okay, like, if I go all the way here, I have to prioritize what I'm going to do because I could risk losing Pikmin and this, that, and the fourth, and that's the only thing I don't like. But for the most part, it's good.
I mean, it's an RTS. I mean, like, it's kind of like it's kind of like you're like my first RTS, but it is a RTS, and nonetheless, and that's what those games are very much like about. But I mean, like, you've been up to a whole lot more this week, and and that's what I'm really kind of excited to hear from you about.
Now, as of this recording, it is Thursday. The PS5 has come out. I managed to get the Xbox Series X. What
do you think of the Xbox Series X so far? With your time with that,
it's next gen. It really is. I mean, it's obviously everyone's like, let's see the graphical improvements and this, that, and the fourth. But it's really like what I've noticed. It's just ease of access. Like, I can't tell you how awesome it is when I dive into a big open world AAA game. Currently, I am playing through Yakuza, and it's not the most. It's not a huge world, but still, there's load times, right? And it's instantaneously, and it's just like, wow, like, it's still like there's games that I download, and my internet here is terrible. Like, I have terrible internet, but as you can see right now, Final Fantasy 15 is almost finished downloading, and that's the Royal Edition, mind you, with upwards of 200 gigabytes.
Wow.
And it just started downloading. So, yeah, it's insane. The ease of access is really nice. From the most part, if you've owned an Xbox One, the user interface is still the same, but it's just insane to, like, it's almost to the point of where I can't imagine going back and playing like a regular PS4 or like a regular Xbox, because I would just be like, so like, oh my, what is like it? I don't know. It's just it's really nice. But what about you? I know you actually just started something pretty interesting.
Well, so the first thing is, like, you let me borrow your own PlayStation 4 last week, and in the time between then and now, I didn't really get anything until today, but like, I went back and I played through Spider-Man 2018, and I did the DLC that I had been
there was like 3 DLC.
Yeah, there were 3. They were relatively short. Like, I got like if you did just like the story for them, like, I imagined you could bust each one of them out in like 2 to 3 hours, if that. Like, I kind of messed around a little bit and did some of the side things. So, like, I probably took a little bit more time than I needed to, but I just really stuck to the story on that. But I also went back and I downloaded my new Game Plus data for Horizon to also kill some time this week. And, like, level 53 starting out in that game, and it's just like, it is just fun to go through and just crush some fools with like having like all the max gear. But what I started this morning was, and part of the reason why I went back and played Spider-Man 2018 was I got started on Miles Morales.
Yes, the big one.
Like, and so far my initial impressions of it is like, what I expected from this game was more Spider-Man. Like, I was just like, I expect this to be more just like more of what was good about Spider-Man 2018, and they really kind of did hone in on that and have made that game like they kind of trimmed off the fat, and it's just like what I'm enjoying playing the game is just like I'm noticing like there are things that I'm doing in combat that were like upgrades and skills in 2018 that like Miles just has from the get-go. So like the combat feels good starting off, but like the main thing I have to say about it is like Spider-Man 2018 was very much a Spider-Man story. Like this is about Peter being Spider-Man. He's been at this for a few years. It isn't like an origin story or anything.
Yeah, he's a little more honed in.
Yeah, and we got to see Miles in 2018, but like
I hate to cut you off there, but he was in
oh yeah,
I didn't really play. I don't think I actually played it at all. But I remember like seeing like screenshots and stuff like that. But I didn't know if it was just like some huge Spider-Man fan trying to just merge the two of us. But he was actually in the original.
No, you played as him for like but like not he wasn't Spider-Man.
Okay,
like
so
he
just
didn't
Miles.
have the powers yet. He just like was just Miles, and he had like some tech gadgets and all that. But so you got like they introduced him and was just like, hey, this guy's gonna come back later, and like there's an ending at there's like a bit at the end of 2018 where like where we clearly were told that the next game is gonna be Miles Morales, but like this game is about Miles being Miles. It's just like it is like 2018 like it was about Spider-Man going and fighting the Sinister Six. This game is about Miles and his family and like him hanging out with his friends and like him becoming his own Spider-Man. And like that's what I like about it. It has like a lot more heart and it has a lot more personal connection in it. And I'm like I got to a point in this story before I came over to record today that I'm really kind of excited about. Well, like not sure if excited is right. I'm interested to see where it goes because right now in 2020, a big note of this year has been the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's interesting like with that being what's going on in the real world. I'm thinking a lot about that as I'm playing through this game because there is a lot of cops and there's like here's the thing. Like we were gonna get to this in a later story today, but I feel like this is appropriate now. Is this like me and Dom are two white straight cis dudes, all right? So like, and we like I understand that I'm not like I make mistakes a lot. I'm not gonna speak for Dom on his behalf, but like I believe if we say something wrong, which I'm sure at some point we might, I want you as our audience to come out and say, hey, you messed up. This is why you messed up. And I want to have a proper discussion, like, because I know, like, I have said things before in the past that, like, I wouldn't say now. And I'm a big fan of Kinda Funny, and, like, one of their biggest things that, like, they always say to each other is, be better. So it's just, like, that's something I want to carry on through our thing, is saying, hey, let's be better, let's talk to each other, and let's have a communication about things. So I'm going to say some stuff right now, and maybe I might almost sound like an idiot, but hey, like, a lot of this kind of, like, a lot of what's going on, like, there's a moment where you're playing through the game as Miles, and, like, you're in this very very high intensity moment where, like, you're trying to save people, and then as you finish saving these people, a group of what is basically armed security come up to him and, like, point guns at him. It's like, okay, you're being treated like the villain here. And, like, it's powerful to me in that moment like, because I am playing as Miles, I get to feel that moment, like, through him in a way. So it's different, like, this is the powerful thing about video games is like you get to see something from a different perspective. And there's a lot of different articles out there that say like that, like, I haven't finished the story, so like that are constantly saying like, hey, Miles Morales could have like really made a lot of movement with the Black Lives Matter thing and addressed that more. And there is a mural in the game actually. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm I'm paying attention, but I am checking Walmart.
No, I'm more apologizing to the people that are listening. Is just like it's really kind of like there is a Black Lives Matter photo like mural in the game, and like the game's getting like a lot of criticism because like it could have done more, and like I think. Yes, that's true, and yes, it's not because like the production cycle of a game takes so long.
Oh yeah,
it's just like
it's these. I think like you said, we're definitely firm believers of treat everyone equally. Just be a decent citizen, do the right thing, never look down on someone just because they look different, speak different, whatever it may be. But obviously, like it's nice that Insomniac and Sony would essentially have that in the game, and there I even saw that there was something where there was a Mexican I think it's like a festival that they put, and it really like it was just really authentic, and it was really genuine, and it was really nice. And there was someone on Twitter that said something about it like, you guys like nailed it, like thank you for showing this culture, like it's awesome. But I do understand that, they also are a business, right? So they're on that like 50-50 of like,
make it marketable. But like also like the Black Lives Movement was something that popped up this year. And like, this is a game that's been like in production, and the main story of the game has probably been in production since before Spider-Man 2018 launched. Yeah. So it's just like, yes, it would have been nice to have seen them do more with the Black Lives Matter movement. And address some of these issues more head on, but I don't think that was really where their mind was at 2 years ago when they were writing the main story for the game. But like I'm still saying like it has powerful moments for me because like this is something I don't usually experience, or I don't really like as a white guy. Like the most I worry about a cop is if I'm gonna get a speeding ticket or not. It's just like so. I still feel like this game kind of like it's not the same thing. I'm not saying like, oh, this is a perfect representation, but like it does give me like a kind of glimpse lens into like kind of makes me feel how I imagine some other people might feel because these are real life situations that people unlike me have to deal with.
Yeah, no, it's I think it goes back to video games are a form of art, right? Like it's something that there's so many moments you can have where you can just take away and actually mean something like that. It's awesome to hear because it's one of those like redeeming moments where you're like, yeah, like you can't experience that anywhere but here, and it's really nice to have the moments in games, and especially like I was saying earlier, these are businesses too, and the fact that they do these things sometimes to sort of I wouldn't say show appreciation, but kind of show that they understand is nice, because at the end of the day they are business, right? And we have to be honest here. The most the money, a lot of it is money, but it's really cool to know that you can essentially you can experience that, and it obviously gives you a better understanding of everything too, which is really nice. All especially right. With I think what we will be talking about at some point today, which it's sort of in relation to this, just with video game companies and how they handle things.
Do you want me to just bring that up now? Cause
yeah, honestly, you might as well dive right into it.
Yeah, this also goes off of something else that happened this week. So this article comes from Marie Delisandre at gamesindustry.biz. Ubisoft apologized for using ableist language in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Courtney Craven, founder of Can I Play That, a games publication for disabled gamers focusing on accessibility, called out Ubisoft for the way it described a character with severe burns in the latest Assassin's Creed entry. PC Gamer reported the description read, horribly burned in a childhood accident. Irfawine, that's the character's name, and I have no idea how to pronounce that. Is terrified someone will see her disfigured face. She relieves her fury with bursts of violence. Craven said on Twitter that it is important to address such language, adding that it is unacceptable to talk about facial differences this way. Writers for games and otherwise need to do better, they said. GF, I imagine this is in regard to her girlfriend. That's what the publication that I heard about this one said. That's what it was. Or a friend was sitting next to her. Who is a burn victim and spent many years ashamed of her scars, was sitting beside me when I came upon this bit in the game, and the look on her face. I was embarrassed that this was her impression of the industry I love so much. Ubisoft replied on Twitter apologizing for unintentional reinforcing ableism through this language and said it will remove it in an upcoming update. When it will do so is unclear at this stage. So, one thing that was also brought up in the conversation was Ubisoft has tried to do better and does have people on this game for what's the word I'm looking for right now? Accessibility. They do have contractor, like Steve Saylor, the blind gamer, is actually listed as a contractor for in regards to accessibility on this game, and sometimes people mess up. There is a lot that go into these games and sometimes slip through, and I think Ubisoft handled this the best that they could. They said, we apologize, and we're gonna fix it. And that's really, and I think now they'll look for it. This will be something that they'll be more vigilant of in the future.
It's just, it sucks because it's almost like a Ubisoft at it again kind of thing, right? Because they've
missed the mark a few times, but they're
recently, they literally just did something recently with one of their mobile apps with the Black Lives Matter movement. They essentially tried to capitalize on it, and there was, in my opinion, I think they did. And there was they essentially had the image of a black fist going up in the game.
Oh, yeah, and it was I remember this now.
Yeah, and it was just okay, obviously it's not the greatest time for something like that. And then I can understand this one. It's and whoever was doing the writing at the time I don't think he was intentionally, he was just truly describing it. But it is almost that if you can do it without doing it, if that makes any sense, do it, right? If you don't have to use those words, then don't. But in Ubisoft's defense, they will patch it out, so it's going to be gone. Some companies could just be and Ubisoft, to be fair, is a big enough company where they could just be whatever, dude. But it's nice that they're someone's upset by this, we'll take care of it. But it is almost to the point come on, Ubisoft, here we go again. Can we not come back? It's just I feel like they should just have someone just checking these things. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? But I think you're right. I think they are definitely, handling it to the best of their ability, and in the long run, it'll be okay. But it's nice that they understood the problem and they are fixing it. So that's awesome. Finally, good on Ubisoft actually, they're not a terrible company, but they're not my favorite.
All right. While we're on the topic of Assassin's Creed, I also have. Well, I wanted to talk before this came up. I also just wanted to talk about Assassin's Creed in general because Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out this week, and
and that got moved up too, right? Because I remember that was actually going to come out I could have swore it was originally planned to come out later, but it actually got bumped up so it would launch on the same day as the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
I have two.
So I have a review to read right here, and this comes from Joe Juba from Game Informer. I love 2018's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, especially after its post-release support, but that love was always tempered by a desire for improvements. I wish the content felt more carefully curated. I hated grinding to progress the story. I got sick of managing an inventory bloated with loot. Assassin's Creed Valhalla addresses all of those issues and more, creating a rewarding experience at every turn, whether you're pursuing the main narrative or hunting down treasure. I'm sure Valhalla is not the perfect Assassin's Creed game for all players, but it's certainly my new favorite entry. So do you have a history with Assassin's Creed?
Not in the slightest. I've actually never played a game, an Assassin's Creed game. There's been times of just curiosity where I've wanted to, and it's actually funny. We were literally just talking about it. I was actually debating on just getting into Valhalla, just from what I've heard, and it seems like it's like a good. I wouldn't say a good entry point, but like if you want an Assassin's Creed without like all the, I would say BS it comes with, like this might be the best one, but I've always had like Assassin's Creed is just falls into the Madden, Call of Duty spiel where I'll wait a little bit.
At a certain point, it was every year. I don't think Odyssey was last year. I think Odyssey was 2018, right?
No, the last one I can't even freaking keep track at this point.
Odyssey was the last one. I know that.
Yeah, I believe Odyssey was it? I think it was.
I'm 100% certain that Odyssey was the last one. That is. I'm just not 100% sure what year it was. But I
mean, I'm not gonna lie though. Even like since 2017, they've caught my eye. But I've just never been like, yeah, I'm paying $60 for this. And it gets to the point where they're like $5, and that Valhalla might be the one that I finally dip on. The only thing is we were talking about this earlier in the week. Anytime a new console comes out, it's kind of infectious, this, that, and the fourth. But it also does lead you to try new games.
Yeah, more games because you want to play more stuff on your new game,
exactly.
On your new toy.
And I'm kind of that's where I am with the Series X because, surprise, surprise, there's no true exclusive to it, which is unfortunate. But there are some things that I do actually want to try, and that might be one. Honestly, that might be one.
So for me, I got on board with Assassin's Creed 2. I played Brotherhood. I played Revelations. Played 3. I absolutely hated 3 to no regard. I hated 3 so badly that I jumped off, said I wasn't going to play any more Assassin's Creed games, and it took until Odyssey for me to give it another go. But what I found with Odyssey, and part of the reason why I brought up, I specifically grabbed a review that mentioned Odyssey because it's the only frame of reference I have for this game, is because I tried playing Odyssey and I maybe spent about 5 hours in it, but there are just some RPGs that they feel rather clunky to me. I tried playing it because so many people were saying, "Oh, Odyssey's great. I love Odyssey," but I found Odyssey to be moving through that world didn't feel fun at all to me. It was very much the checklist of the game. The dotted line in the game or the waypoints telling you which way to go are kind of very much a staple in games nowadays. But I just didn't have fun. Every time I was going somewhere, it didn't feel like I was being exploring at all. And it just felt like I was being led on a journey. I was being led on a tour. And I just didn't have any fun with it. But it's just
I think Assassin's Creed it also carries that that stigma of nothing new. But it's also the old if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing. But I just feel like it's just too similar And we've talked about this before too. Like when there's series like that and games like that, you just feel like you've already played them in a sense, right? And you need something like vastly different to like, oh, this might be the one.
For me, it was more along the lines of the criticisms that I have with like The Witcher. Is just like I tried playing The Witcher because like everything that I've ever heard people talk about this game sounds like
Best game
this.
in the world.
This sounds like a game for me.
This
This sounds like what I'd want to play. But like I did like a side mission that was just like, okay, well you're gonna have to go and investigate this area, and then once you investigate this area to find out what the creature is, you're gonna have to go find you're gonna go have to make an oil or something to coat your blade in, in order to take down this monster. And it's just like there's just it very much was telling you this is what you're doing. It didn't really feel like I was making my own journey or my own fun in the game. It was very much being like told, this is what you're doing. This is what you have to do in order to get through this. And that's kind of like the same problem I had with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And it's just like, I don't know, like I'm like hearing the reviews for this game, for Valhalla, is just like, that sounds like something I want to do. And also like, one of the main people in this game is the Danes. There's a lot of Danes in this.
That's pretty cool.
And like that's like a small part of me is just like, my name's in it.
Like I look at it like that's just a perfect example. I'm currently and this is something actually I plan on bringing up a little later, but I'm currently playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, right? Now, I've always wanted to play the Yakuza series. I've wanted to play every game in the Yakuza series for a while now. Ever since Yakuza 6 came out, I was like, man, I really want to try this out. But, I can get into a series, and if I know each title is independent from each other, I'll jump in. But I know that I'm pretty sure that there's some continuity between them and like some of the lore. So I was just like, okay, if I know I can purchase all of them, obviously not at once, but like throughout, and I can catch up to that point, I'll do it. And so they actually made it available with when they remastered 3, 4, and 5. I believe like that was your chance. You could go all the way through, and I was like, all right, I will. And like I knew that when I would jump into Yakuza, it would just be more of the same with each game, right? Yeah. And obviously that's the same way with a lot of series. But when I saw the first trailer for Yakuza Like a Dragon, I was like, whoa, they shook up the formula. Like, no, it's a JRPG. Like, it's turn-based. It looked like they just shook up the formula, right? And I was like, this is where I'm coming in. And so I knew out of the gate it was going to be something vastly different from before. Even though I haven't played those, I just knew, like, this is new, this is fresh. So, and also, yes, I do like JRPGs. So I immediately was like, yeah, like a Dragon is for me, and I got it as soon as it came out. And I'm starting to feel that way with Valhalla, that it might be the one that I actually kind of like. This one might be the one that's kind of for me. That might sink me into the series. And I do that with a lot of series where there'll be one that gets me, and then I'll just backtrack the rest just because like I'm just so infatuated with the series as a whole.
Don't play Assassin's Creed 3.
I thought 3 was like one of the better ones.
Oh, I hated it.
Because
here's the thing.
They remastered like every one, but I always remember 3 being like the first one. Like,
so here's my big thing against 3. Like the whole thing was like, hey, you're gonna play as Connor. You get to be this guy. You get to run up trees and you get to do all this stuff. There is like a 2-3 hour like segment of that game at the start of it that no one tells you about, like where you don't play as Connor, you play as his dad, and his dad is the worst. I hated playing that segment. I was just like, I was all excited to play as Connor. I was excited about like all these new features, and it was just like, and like I got it midnight release. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go play as Connor.
Wow,
I'm gonna like
crazy.
do this, and then like I get home, I put it in, and I have to play like this whole segment that like isn't Connor. And I was just like, okay, well this isn't what I was told to do, and I got like stuck on one segment in that, and I was just really frustrated at 2 a.m, and I was just like got me really angry. And then but then like it was a lot of more of clunkiness. Like there was like you have a pistol in that game, and I was just like, I may just be an idiot, which is highly probable. But
Wait, because 3 was what was the setting for 3? 3 was
American Revolution.
Okay.
But like, there's a point in the game where like I hadn't used the pistol at all because I just didn't know how to use it or like what the button was for it, or like it just didn't come up in combat at all. And then like and like there's a moment, like I think it was like part of the main story, I don't think it was a side quest, where I had to blow up a barrel using the gun, and I literally sat there for like 20 minutes trying to figure out how to use the damn gun. And then there's that game ends in a certain way, which I'm not gonna spoil, but like it just was like the icing on the cake of a game that I just wasn't enjoying, and like was just trying to power through, and then the ending happened, and I was just like, all right, I'm done. I'm not playing this. It was just like a very visceral, emotional reaction. I can't even tell you 100% like why I didn't like. So, like there was like this like, and I liked how in the past games it was very easy to upgrade upgrade your areas and like unlock things, and it was just like, and I didn't care for the homestead at all. It's just like they changed a lot in that game that I just didn't like.
So would you say that someone like myself, who obviously hasn't played anything in the series, and obviously from what you said, you've got a good decent knowledge of the series.
I wouldn't say that because like I played 4 games and 5 hours of another.
Have you played any of the? Well, have you played anything from Origins and up, or Odyssey and up?
So I didn't play Black Flag, Rogue.
I thought Black Flag was good, right?
Black Flag was good, and like I think it was the one that came out after 3. But like after how angry I was at 3, I wasn't touching Black Flag. So like I didn't play Black Flag, Rogue One, or Unity or Syndicate, and I didn't play Origins. So like I'm definitely in the that's 6 games right there. So I've only played I have played less than half of this series.
So would you say? Well, technically, I guess you wouldn't know because you haven't played it yet. But I guess my question is: do you plan on kind of getting back into the series with Valhalla, or are you just kind of going to give it some time? I'm not
gonna spend $60 on it. It's just honestly, if I see this at $20, and there's a lull in between games that I want to play, nothing's out, I'll pick it up and I'll try it out, but I'm definitely not gonna go out and spend $60 on it right now.
Speaking of spending money on video games, if you guys don't know, I believe most retailers, not all of them, but a decent amount I know GameStop has posted their Black Friday ads, so I'll check those out if there's something you're going to be interested in. I honestly didn't see anything crazy. For anyone who doesn't own a Switch, if you want to pick one up this Black Friday, you get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for free in 3 months of Nintendo Switch Online, which it's hilarious.
Have they updated that Switch model yet, or is it still?
It is updated. It is the updated one with the better battery life. I read a tweet somewhere where someone said, even when Mario Kart 9 releases, they'll still release that bundle, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised. And the thing is, though, that bundle probably sells boatloads during the holiday. I mean, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best-selling game on the system, so it's a no-brainer, right? It makes sense.
It's also it's something simple to anyone can sit down and play. You can play it with your kids. It's also
I remember
it's a great pack-in title.
When I was working at Target seasonally, and that was every 5 seconds. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle. I'm like, I'm sorry, we sold out in 5 minutes. I apologize. I'm actually kind of ashamed they're not doing, obviously the 2DS's, rest in peace, long sailed away, but I don't know, I was hoping they would do, because normally every year last year they did the Super Mario, I think it was last year they did the Super Mario Party bundle, I'm pretty sure. I
could have sworn that was 2018.
That was 2018, that's right. I don't remember what they did.
I don't think they did one last year.
Yeah, they didn't, that sucks. But it would be nice for them to do something like that. But yeah, definitely check those out if you haven't already. If you plan on getting something, I'm probably honestly just still going to keep an eye out for the PS5. Other than that, there's no crazy games. Although, shamelessly, after this, I may go purchase Valhalla, depending on how things go. But that leads me to one thing I do briefly want to touch on. So, as Dane mentioned earlier, he is currently playing Miles Morales, and so I'm currently playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, and we do plan to have reviews for both of these games out within the month.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get all Miles Morales done before all Age of Calamity comes out, which is in a week.
Yeah, so definitely, look forward for those. We'll be having that out soon. And just in another thing I do want to mention, we do plan on trying to put up more. I wouldn't say more review related content, but there will be some games that we're going to try to cover more on the channel, just so you guys can
also get
our opinion on those. And it'll be a little more formulaic, obviously not like a podcast, but I would just look out for those whenever they do arrive.
I have a few things in mind for video essay type things. There's a thing that I want to do come March. That I've already talked to Dominic about that I want to do, but the thing is, the thing I really want to get into is, if we want to talk shop here for a second, is I just want to talk about I want to learn how to talk about games as a story, as just stories related to games. A good example is if you go and listen to the Top 100 Video Games podcast with Jared Petty. Go listen to the Suikoden 2 podcast where he talks about Suikoden 2 with someone, and the fervor and the joy that they have behind that conversation is just that's what I really want to get behind.
Yeah, I love those videos. Oh my god, I could make so many of those myself, because there's so many games I've played where you it almost takes you back, right? And it's just this. There's some games that give you this feeling that nothing else can ever give you, and it's just you hold on to it so dearly. Not even games that I've grown up with or games that I have nostalgia for, but there's some games where I've experienced something with, and I just hold on to that because it's just wow, I just I'll never experience whether it be a moment in the game that all right, I'll just say one, Xenoblade Chronicles. I just played that this year when it came out for the first time, and there's a moment in the beginning of the game. It's very early in the game. I'm not going to say it, but it's just it just hits you, and you're just man, it just took you there. And I've really just from that point forward, I have just nothing but giddiness for that game. I think about it and just fond. I'm so just, I just it just sits so well with me, and I just get so happy about it. And I love hearing those discussions that people have about games, or a time in their life that's reminiscent with that game. It's just awesome hearing that, that they share something with that game in a sense, and it's kind of not a part of them, but it's something they hold very close to.
Yeah, it's just I was also listening to a lot of different podcasts this week. I'm sorry. I was trying to compare notes on a lot of different things, but there were two people, there was a conversation that people that and one of them was just if books and movies can do stories so much better, why should video games even bother? And the main consensus behind that conversation was video games should have a story, because video games, how I was talking about Miles Morales earlier, it's just they can a book can only tell you one thing, and it's just it's a very linear, this is my intent, this is what I want you to get. Movies are they're very one, this is the story we are trying to tell you. And it's just whereas when you video games allow you to embody another character and put you in a different perspective. It's just whereas when I'm reading something, I may not think of all of the different connotations of what's going on, because I don't remember all of the little details at once. But when you see something visually and you're playing as that character, it allows you to see it from a different side, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, I honestly can't believe someone would say that. If you, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
no, it was like a mainstream article that
okay,
had
okay,
written
okay.
like video games shouldn't bother with
Yeah, like
stories,
it. I mean,
and like they were just like, what is this?
yeah,
Why do you write this story?
yeah. Like, I mean, me hearing that is just insane because, like, I've said this earlier and 1,000 times. My favorite genre is, Japanese role playing games, and they're very heavy on the narrative. And 9 times out of 10, I find myself just going through the game because of it. I mean, there's so many just insane stories that I've had through games that just resonate. Like, we'll take Final Fantasy 15, right? A lot of people did not like that game because it just it really just went off the beaten
Bro Trip,
path.
the video game.
But from just a narrative standpoint and the relationship that Noctis and Prompto and Ignis and Gladiolus all shared, like, that was tight knit. Like, I cried at the end of that when they literally, spoiler warning if you haven't played Final Fantasy 15, essentially at the end in the beginning of the game, it's all four of them and they're pushing the Regalia, or I just think I butchered that. I don't remember if it's called that.
Regalia?
I think it's called that. The name of their car.
I have no idea. I've never played the game.
They're pushing it, right? And they're like slowly pushing it. And then this beautiful rendition of Stand By Me with, they had someone do a cover for Final Fantasy 15 for the soundtrack, and it's great. And at the end of the game, Prompto takes pictures essentially like with all you guys throughout the entire game, right? And it's just, there's moments where you stop at a campfire and you just tell stories, and Ignis does his cooking and this, that, and the fourth. But at the end of the game, Noctis knows he's going to die. He's pretty much going to die, right? And Prompto says like, hey, what picture do you want to take with you? And like, you're literally just going through all the pictures of like your 40, 50-hour journey with them, and you're like, wow, like this is insane. And then, you take the picture, then, he dies. And then essentially at the end, like through the credits, it goes back to them of like all of them like pushing the car. And it's just like, it's just that story, right? Like between all of them is like, I could have never gotten that from a film. Like, I don't know what film could have told me that narrative, and I would have felt the same way. Obviously, through video games, it's told differently, it's done differently, and if anything, I would think in terms of storytelling, video games would be able to push that further in the future. I mean, you can only go so far with books and movies, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like, and like one of the things that they brought up is just like, I mean, like, video games are still so new. Like, we're less than 100 years old, whereas, like, books we've had since, like, as long as we can write. And story, and like even then we've been telling stories like forever, like even like not even like so much a story that we've created, but like so much about like all our learning is told through stories. Like if cavemen like went out and they fought something, they would like come back and tell the story of what happened when they fought it. So like we've been telling stories for forever through words, whereas like the video game medium is still so new. Like,
oh yeah,
if we're like 1,000 years down the road, where video games still exist, like they'll be on a very different level than they are today.
Even when you think of when big video games really started to tell a story, like technically, like true storytelling, like video games has. I mean, you had to use your imagination years and years ago, but now it's evolved into games where you have to like play 3 times over just to fully grasp like, okay, this is what happened.
All right. Well, do you want to move on to the next story, our next story then today?
Yes. After one thing, I literally completely forgot to say this while we're on the topic of the PS5 and PS4. But if you guys don't own a PS5 or an Xbox Series X yet, no biggie, or I would say more on the Sony side of things, of course. But Jim Ryan, he's the head of PlayStation right now, has stated that the PS4 is going to be pretty much
next 3 years.
So obviously it sold over 100 million units. So there's an audience that they want to keep happy. So don't rush in and grab it if there's nothing like truly grabbing you. If you have the disposable cash, you're going to get it already. Obviously that's a different story. But I wouldn't say it's like go get like, oh my gosh, run out and shove children, go get it. It's know that if you have a PS4. You'll be kept happy for a couple years. And of course, everyone knows Microsoft's side on this. They're supporting, all their platforms going forward. But into the next topic.
So, Dominic, do you want to talk about bug snacks?
Dude, what is that? What even like? I didn't even. I don't
So,
get like
this is
the
like-
hype
this is a
behind
game
it
that-
or like what it's so. There's some celebrities like voicing it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
From what
like
I've heard.
it has like a big cast, like Yuri Lowell, who
Yuri Lowenthal,
who-
the
who-
voice actor of Sasuke, Spider-Man.
He like he's in it, but like I had no idea what this game was.
Yeah,
like,
neither did I.
like,
But there's
it
so
was,
much.
Like,
I didn't know if it was like meme hype or if it was like.
I mean, like it was meme hype.
Okay,
but
so-
like I've actually like I don't think they call it this in either of the reviews I picked up. But I'm gonna read a review quick, and then I'll tell like I've listened to other reviews, and like I have one thing that like will probably get you some hype on it. Bug Snacks is a light lifting. This first review comes from Simon Cardy over at IGN.
Boo.
What?
I said boo just because you said IGN, and so every time I hear IGN in review, I'm just like, ooh, this is gonna go one way or the other.
All right, Bug Snacks is a light lifting puzzle adventure that is elevated by its strong story and characters that I enjoyed until the very end. Despite some simple mechanics, the laughs outnumbered the groans significantly as I found myself surprisingly invested in the events of the island and its inhabitants. With over 100 bug snacks to discover and catch, there's plenty here to entertain the completionists alongside those just looking for a well-told 6-hour mystery that will keep you guessing until after the credits roll. All of this while making you feel emotionally connected to the characters, something you previously might have thought sounded impossible, until you saw a carrot crawl, that is. Alright, and I got another one from Stephen Tailby from Push Square. Bug Snacks is a strange concoction of elements that come together for a truly unique adventure. Finding and catching the titular carrot creatures is great fun, but the gameplay is broken up by story beats that belly the game's simple, whimsical style. The mysterious narrative and memorable ensemble cast will keep you interested between hunting for snacks too. Despite loading screens interrupting the flow and a handful of repeated beasties, this curious game is an unusual blend of flavors that works wonderfully. Now, Dom,
Yes.
here's the thing that I heard someone compare this to that immediately got me more hype for this. They called it a modern day Pokemon Snap. Because, like, here's the thing.
That's a pretty bold statement.
So here's the thing. You are playing as a reporter on this island, and so part of that is like you're going around seeing these different creatures and you're taking pictures of them, but also you have to capture some of them. So it's like kind of how in Pokemon Snap you would have to like maneuver some Pokemon using like the bait or like the pasture balls to like try and get them to do certain things. So it's like that same kind of problem solving mechanics, but in like a more open world format. So it's just like a lot of the stuff I heard was like, like comparing it to, like if you took Pokemon Snap and you like kind of opened it up a bit more.
The only like I do like that idea, but for me, like the only reason I play Pokemon Snap
Is for the Pokemon.
yeah. So like, if someone was trying to sell me on a camera, like a picture, a taking picture esque kind of like,
but that's like only part
video
of this.
game.
Like part of this is like capturing them, bringing them back,
Oh.
and then like you have like
okay,
have like
well that I do like.
you have like you have different characters on the island that like will request you to do certain things or bring you certain snacks, and like apparently like at its core it's like about rebuilding this community, and it's just like it sound like, and then like a little bit of a mystery going on because like that first trailer that I saw, like that they really like opened this up with, it ended with like this bug snack monster like coming at the camera.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
like it sounds like a fun time. It's just like I have PS Plus, so I added like it's free on PS5 right now.
Yeah.
If you have PS Plus, so I'm probably gonna pick this up on PS5.
Yeah, and you'll get the
play it
PS
on-
Plus collection, right?
Yeah, but like, so I have it added to my library already, but I'm probably not going to buy it for PS4 or play it on PS4 because the main thing I heard about against the PS4 version is that if like the load times are horrible, like because like there isn't like a fast travel to the other side of the island, so you'll be like sent to one side of the island to go and like catch bug snack or something, but like you have like 3 or 4, like you have a few different sub areas that you have to move through to get to that side of the island. So if you had to move from one side of the island, you have to move through like 3 or whatever sub areas. It could take like a minute and a half just to do that.
Fun fact. I had just found this out. Because you mentioned a PS4 and PS5 and playing a PS4 game on PS5 and things of that nature. You can play your PS5 through your PS4 with remote play.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, what the? Why? I mean, like, I guess, but it's just it's such a like quirky thing. I don't think I'd ever want to do that.
I mean, it's such a thing that like I don't think you need to do right now. I mean, like this is totally for like the people that like this is such like a limited use case scenario right now with.
Yeah, just with like remote play, like you can play your PS4 on your phone, on your iPad even, with remote play if you sync a controller to it. Like that's I barely use it, but it's kind of cool. But like I don't think I'd ever want to use that. I think I tried it and I was using touch controls with Kingdom Hearts and it was like, that's terrible.
Yeah, I mean like I could imagine like say you have a PS5 and you can still have your PS4 and like you are traveling out of town or whatever for the week or something, you don't want to break your new PS5, so instead you take your PS4 with you and you play remote play like on that. Like what? But like right now with the current climate, like no one's really going anywhere. Yeah. So it's just like right now, like, and even then, it's such like a limited use. It's nice that the feature's there, but like I don't think like it's gonna be widely used at all.
I don't think either. But it's just odd to me that was even a thing. And the game they were playing was Astro's Playroom. I really want to play that.
It looks so fun. I've heard such good things about that. It's like a 2 to 3 hour experience.
Yeah, I would love to play that.
Like really shows. And all right, well, I have one last story here for today. If you want to do it,
yeah.
All right, so this one's kind of a longish article. We got Mass Effect Legendary announcement.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Casey Hudson from the BioWare blog. It's tough keeping a big secret, and we really struggled to keep this one a surprise, but now it's official. Today we announced the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We've heard for years your request for a Mass Effect remaster, so we're happy to finally reveal that we've been working on a remastered edition of the Mass Effect trilogy. For many months now, our team at BioWare has been hard at work updating the textures, shaders, models, effects, and technical features of 3 enormous games. Our goal was not to remake or reimagine the original games, but to modernize the experience so that fans and new players can experience the original work in its best possible form. It's been amazing to see the adventures of Commander Shepard take on new life in super sharp resolution, faster frame rates, and beautiful visual enhancements. As game developers, we always hope that our games will transcend their original platforms. Having the opportunity to remaster the trilogy means that the fruits of a decade of our work will live on and will be experienced better and clearer than ever before. Mass Effect Legendary Edition will include single-player base content and DLC from Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3, plus promo weapons, armors, and packs, all remastered and optimized for 4K Ultra HD. It will be available in spring 2021 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, with forward compatibility and targeted enhancements on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. More information to come in the new year. Meanwhile, here at BioWare, a veteran team has been hard at work envisioning the next chapter of the Mass Effect universe. We are in the early stages on the project and can't say any more just yet, but we're looking forward to sharing our vision for where we'll be going next.
Yeah, I pretty on that. Like I played Mass Effect Andromeda when that came out, and it was terrible.
What do you think of that?
The game was awful.
Okay, why was it awful? Like I've been hearing for years how awful
like
Andromeda
like
was.
you know, like when like we talk about like Sonic 06.
Oh God.
Yeah, like that. Like it just wasn't done. Like, and it was just not a good experience. But I've heard like so many good things about the series, so that's why I picked it up, because I was like, I like this setting. I can think I could deal with the gameplay. Like, let's give it a shot. And I was like, yeah, this is terrible. But everyone's told me like the Mass Effect trilogy is great. Like this, that, and the fourth. And the rumors about this have actually been out for a while. And for some, I kept hearing Switch port. So I was like, ooh, I'll get on the Switch. Like I love like these downgraded like Switch ports. I think they're so cool. And I was like, yeah, I'll pick it up for Switch. And I guess it's not coming to Switch. We might see a Switch port later down the line. But
maybe. This
is a game where after it comes out and I see it in the bargain bin, or like if I see it on like sale, then I'll pick it up. I'll try it out.
It depends on like where it comes out in the years. It's like if it's because like here's like I've heard a lot of good things about Mass Effect as well, and like it's something that's like it hasn't been spoiled yet for me, like how people talk about Final Fantasy VII. But it's just like, okay, like I understand romance is a big thing in these games, but the overall story, like the main story hasn't been really ruined for me yet. So I kind of want to play it, but like it depends where it comes out in the year for me. I've heard like a few complaints that people are just like Mass Effect 1 at least should have been like remade instead of remastered. But like I don't know, like I've never played any of them, so I'd be interested in giving it a go.
I like when they do stuff like this too, because it gives you a chance to just like dive into pretty much a huge portion of the series, right? And you can just like, see if I like this. I can make it a break it thing for me. But yeah, no, I'll probably pick it up at some point. Like it's definitely a game that's on my radar, but it's not something I'm gonna like grab as soon as it comes out. Like I'll pick it up at some point in time. But
all right, cool. Well, I think that's just about going to do it for us this week. All right, and please remember, we are now up on Spotify and Apple Music, as well as Stitcher, and like we're trying to get listed on a few other things. So please go ahead and look for us there, subscribe, and give us a review. And we'd love to see you again sometime soon. All right, bye-bye.